Hey guys, this is Kyle from Two Broke Shooters. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the Mossberg MVP LC. This one is in 6.5 Creedmoor. They also offer this in 5.56, 223, and 7.62. This one's got a 20-inch barrel. I believe the 308 7.62 has an 18, and the 5.56 has a 16-inch barrel. I've done a little bit of change into this, mostly just aesthetic stuff. This rifle is in a MDT. This is actually the LSS Gen 1. MDT does no longer make this chassis. They've come out with a Gen 2. This one has a Magpul buttstock on it. Has a cheek riser on here. This is a little bit taller cheek riser than it came with. This one's a 3/4 inch in order to get my proper cheek weld here. We've got a bag rider that I added to this rifle, something that I do to all my guns. This one was kind of trying to be a more budget minded. I was wanting to do everything that I could myself and not have to spend money to upgrade the rifle. I've got an Anarchy Outdoors Penguin grip on here. I run this grip on all my rifles. Really like it. It fits me very well. This rifle comes with a Magpul PMag 10 round. This is an not an AICS pattern, excuse me. This is an AR-10 pattern magazine. We've got a cheap eBay muzzle brake on here. I mean, maybe 15 bucks. It does its job. It does what I needed it to do. This is a knockoff Atlas bipod. You can probably tell by the channel title. I'm trying to do as much as we can and not spend $400 on a bipod. I've got quite a bit of other stuff that I want to spend my money on. The scope that's on here is an Athlon Helos, excuse me. This is a Helos BTR. 8-34 magnification, 56mm objective. I've got it in a set of UTG point of impact precision rings, they call them. Cheap bubble level on here. The rifle shoots really well. We've done most of our testing that I've done with Hornady American Gunner. We use that ammo a lot here. It shoots really well in multiple different rifles. This rifle is shooting just under minute of angle at 100 yards, and we have taken this out to 750 yards. Said this one, 6.5 Creedmoor, 20-inch barrel, kind of a medium bull barrel, some light fluting here on the end. The MVP LC comes in the MDT chassis, as I said. This is the Gen 1 again, so it doesn't have any M-lock slots or anything like that. It's actually a proprietary system from MDT. What I ended up doing was, you got some screws here that MDT has their Picatinny sections for. I just took a section that I had and I kind of offset it, and I drilled and tapped new holes for this because I didn't want to spend the money to put the exclusive MDT Picatinny section on it. I don't know that I've really done anything else besides that. If you've ever shot a Mossberg rifle, played with a Mossberg rifle, the bolts suck. They're sloppy. I don't know if you can see that. It's terrible. They're not very smooth. They've got a bolt lock. An empty magazine here. This should not. You can make it do it, but should not go forward with an empty magazine. Drop that mag out, and it locks up tight. The gun shoots well. If that's something that's going to bother you, this isn't going to be a rifle for you. I've probably dry fired and run this bolt 1,000 times, and it's gotten smoother as far as actual function goes, but you can pretty easily get this thing in a bind, especially when the magazine's fully loaded. The trigger in this one, this is Mossberg's lightning bolt action or something like that, LBA trigger that they call it. It's not a bad trigger. It's got the safety bar here, kind of like an AccuTrigger, Savage AccuTrigger does. I did a little bit of polishing and cleaning stuff up on this one, and it's breaking right about 1 3/4 pounds. I'm not entirely sure what the advertised weights are on this trigger, but it's a little bit lighter than what they're advertising. It's got ever so slight creep. It breaks pretty nicely for a factory trigger. It did get quite a bit better when I put when I did the polishing and stuff like that. So from the factory, it wasn't ideal, but it got the job done, and it's pretty nice now. Overall, it's if you're sitting on a bench or shooting prone, if that's the kind of rifle that you're going for, kind of a long range entry setup, it's a little lightweight for my liking. Obviously, it's the LC, it's the light chassis, that's kind of the idea. In my personal opinion, it's a little too heavy for a hunting rifle and a little too light for a prone or a bench rifle. It falls in between here. I actually had one of these rifles in 5.56 that I used for a coyote gun for a while, and it was the same thing. It was too heavy to pack around, but it was on the table, even with the brake. It jumps around and doesn't stay on target, and to me, that's the whole idea of the brake. I'm not trying to get rid of recoil on a 6.5. I'm just trying to stay on target, spot my own hits, and this one, being on the lighter side, for doing that, if you're shooting prone, shooting off the bench, it's definitely difficult to stay on target. The rifle does not come with a 20 MOA rail. It's a flat rail. I actually put one on here from Evolution Gunworks. Cost about 40 bucks. To give you the cant that you want. They make them in 30, 40, maybe even 50, I'm not sure. Custom cants to them. So we shot this rifle yesterday, and we're able to hit minute of angle size targets out to 750 yards. Not every time, but with acceptable accuracy, using some factory ammo that's not even considered a match ammo. The rifle definitely shoots well. There are some things that aren't ideal to me. This is a pretty crude buttstock that comes on this rifle. This one actually, I think, was changed out at the local shop that had it. It's supposed to have a CTR from Magpul on it. Basically the same thing. This is actually a less expensive version than the CTR. This is just a regular MOE. I put a set screw through the top of this to take all the slop, the wobble out of this stock, and then I made a bag rider here so that it sits on the rear bag a little bit better. If you were looking for an entry rifle, my local shop had this rifle for right at $800. I've seen them less than that online, and I've seen them more than that online. So I think on a good day you can find them for just over $700, and I've seen them as high as $8.5. For that price point, I don't think it's a bad option, but my honest opinion is that there are probably some better options in that price point. The bolt is, like I said, it's very, very crude. It doesn't affect the accuracy, the function of the rifle, unless you're trying to run it fast. Obviously, as I stated, it locks up, but it doesn't affect the rifle actually shooting. But it doesn't feel nice. It doesn't look nice. If you're at the range, you show somebody your rifle. I personally don't like that at all. There's not a ton of aftermarket support for these. I know there's a couple of triggers. Timony makes a trigger, and I think Jard makes a trigger for them. It does have a barrel nut here, but I don't know of anybody that makes pre-fit barrels for these. This one, once again, the light chassis, so it's a 20-inch barrel. I was losing about 200 feet per second over my 26-inch barrel on one of my other rifles with the same ammunition, the Hornady American Gunner. If you're looking for this thing for something for a hunting rifle that you're not going to be packing around for long distances, it would probably be okay. Prairie Dog, I think it'd be a decent rifle for that, not carrying it real far. As far as sitting on the bench, it wouldn't be my first choice. For a strictly target rifle, I think there are better things that you guys can find for about the same money. I'm not going to throw my opinions out here on what rifle everybody should buy, because there's a different rifle for every opinion. I'm just stating my opinions on this particular rifle. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask, comment. If you like this, you want to see more, we'll be doing some videos shooting this rifle. We're going to do the 300 yard big challenge, and once we get a little bit more worked out here in the range, we'll try with this rifle and other rifles. I've got some more reviews on different rifles coming, and we'll get those sent your way. So hit the like button if you like what you see. Didn't like what you see, hit the dislike. Subscribe if you guys want to see more.